Merci, Monsieur le Président. Ma question est pour le ministre de l'Infrastructure, the Honourable Bob Chiarelli. Speaker, at the outset, I'd like to thank Minister Chiarelli and the Premier for joining me in my riding of Etobicoke North for the latest and greatest infrastructure development, the $400 million expansion of Etobicoke General Hospital. 14 years of dedicated Liberal leadership such as this, Speaker, has resulted in the largest infrastructure renewal in Ontario's history. Under the leadership of this government, whether it's hospitals, schools, public transit projects across Ontario, and of course these were precisely the projects ignored egregiously by both the PC and the NDP governments. At the heart of our $190 billion 13-year plan is a commitment to creating better lives for the people of Ontario. In Etobicoke North, whether it's communities, schools, hospital, transport infrastructure, there are developments all around the riding. But the opposition has opposed us every step of the way. Speaker, could the minister please elaborate on Ontario's current infrastructure developments?
Thank you, Minister.
Speaker, I thank the member for the question. Speaker, our government invests an average of $12 billion per year on infrastructure, on track for $20 billion next year. In their last year in power, the Tories spent $1.9 billion. They killed transit projects and let social infrastructure rot. Yep. Our Liberal government has been building Ontario up for 14 years. We've invested $280 million in broadband, connecting tens of thousands to high-speed internet. We've carried out 100 major hospital and children's treatment centres, with 35 more underway. We were the first Ontario government to invest $100 million in rural natural gas expansion. We tripled to $300 million the annual Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund for smaller communities. And we are funding nearly 1,400 clean water and wastewater projects. Speaker, there is no debate to be had. Of all the parties represented in this House, only ours has delivered on infrastructure.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Minister, for the flurry of developments and your leadership. I know that the investments that we've made over the past 14 years in every corner of this province will benefit today's generation, but these will also lay the foundation for a fair and prosperous Ontario for our kids and grandkids. Speaker, whether we're making infrastructure investments in healthcare and education and transportation, these are of course a top priority for the community that I represent in Etobicoke North. From rapid transit to GO Regional Express Rail, these new transit options, as an example, will allow people in my community of Etobicoke North to get to work or school and back and forth from home faster than ever before. Speaker, as an example, we have a $1.2 billion Finch LRT custom designed with 8 stops right in Etobicoke North. I'd like to ask, Speaker, would the minister please provide more information on what our government continues to do to reverse the chronic underinvestment, the legacy of the government's opposite?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Delighted to have a chance to answer the member from Etobicoke North's question. He is absolutely correct, Speaker. Since 2003, we have gotten a lot done. So, for example, the Eglinton Crosstown LRT, which will open up in 2021, Speaker, when you think about that, it will be more than 20 years since the Conservative Party killed and filled the Eglinton subway, Speaker. We also know that when the Conservatives were last in government, Speaker, they invested between 10 to 15 times less per year than we have than in GO Transit and other rapid transit projects, Speaker. And of course, an oldie but a goodie, Speaker. We can never forget that Mike Harris and the Conservatives sold Highway 407, Speaker. Now, let's take a look at what our Liberal government's done over the last 14 years. We've extended the GO Rail network by nearly 90 kilometres. The Toronto-York-Spadina subway extension is merely weeks away from opening, Speaker, and we have already opened the first phase of the publicly owned Highway 407 that will be going out to the 115/35 in no time, Speaker. Our record is clear, and so is the Conservative record.